Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Mandy, and in this video I wanted to play around with some colors that would go well with moss. And it's a beautiful moss green from Colourarte. It's in the Wildflower set, and it's beautiful, sparkly, but it's not a color I use a lot, so I looked up some color palettes, and so I'm starting off with a couple of little coasters just to see which direction I want to go, and then I'm going to do a small canvas toward the end. So I decided to go ahead and do a voiceover. So the first color is Persian Rose, or I think Persian Pink, Persian Rose by Amsterdam. I'll list it in the description box. And the second color is going to be Sweet Tooth from Colourarte. It's one of the Glitz colors, and it's in the Jelly Bean set. It's a really beautiful pink. And then the third color I'm going to list is going to be Egyptian Coin, which is a Prism Pour gold color from Colourarte. Love the color. And I looked up this color palette on Pinterest, and I already had the idea of using like an indigo, and then so I just kind of built on that. So this is that beautiful moss color. And so the color palette I looked up showed like a light pink, a deep, like almost like a Prussian or indigo blue. And I was like, yeah, with some gold. So I was like, that would actually be really beautiful. So this first one, I'm going to add some gold boom gel under the cell activator because I already had some in a little cup. And I'm going to use a white cell activator. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing without the boom gel. And so I really end up liking both of them, but then I went ahead and did one on an 8x8. And then off camera, I went ahead and finished the set from the first color test, and I still need to finish the other set. But that's what I love about doing a coaster is like you can do a color test and see how you like the colors to be layered, how you like them to play well together. If you like this versus this, this versus this, and then if you want to finish the set, you can go ahead and finish the sets that you created. Or you can take the skins off, use them for something. But then if you want to play around with the order of things, you can practice on a small surface. It's not going to look the same exact way on a canvas because the more you spread that out, the more the interaction is going to be different. But it's a really fun way to see how the colors play together and what you like more than others. So here I am taking a turkey baster, and all I'm doing there is just breaking the surface tension. I try to emphasize this a lot because when I was practicing my blooms earlier on, I would try to blow through that and create cells, and that would totally morph my painting. So I learned over time that your goal is really just to break the surface tension when you have too much paint right there. Your goal is not necessarily to blow open your cell activator and create cells. And I think that really helped me kind of apply that, because if you blow too hard, you're going to really warp what's underneath, and you're also going to warp the cells that are really going well. So here's the first one. Not the greatest composition, not terrible, but I really love the colors together. I really, really do. Sorry about my camera doing the autofocus thing. So here's the next one. And please enjoy my beautiful olive jar that I have my pillow paint coming out of. We use them a lot, and so I just decided instead of chunking those jars, I'll use them to store small batches of my pillow paint. And then if I don't want to refill it or it gets crusty around the edges, I'll just chunk the jar, but might as well recycle it a little bit, right? I go through olives and stuff like crazy, so. And they're kind of the perfect size almost to store a small batch of pillow paint because you can still stir it, sort of. So sorry about the doorbell and the barking. My dog is still making some wild noises. So I'm just putting on our cell activator now. So the only difference on this one is we didn't use the gold boom gel underneath the cell activator. Sorry about the autofocus. Also, my cell activator, I should mention, was a little bit old. Not terribly old, but it probably would have performed a little bit better if it was fresh. But I really try to use it up if I can. That was one of the reasons I thought using the boom gel underneath it would help it sell up really well, because it had been mixed up for a little while. Sorry if you hear my dogs. I just came in from outside and they're huffing and puffing. So if you hear strange noises, it's not me, it's them. So I like the result of this one too. I especially like the way the indigo kind of surrounds the cells and lacing. I think that looks really cool. Compared to some of the other ones I did, this one is not quite as colorful. So when I kind of continued to play with these off camera, I added a lot more color to the subsequent tiles that I tried to do, just because I wanted that color to stand out. So there's a little close up. Sorry about the glare. But I think, I like both ways. So now we're going to do those colors on an 8x8. So I'm using the Walmart Colorplace Satin as my pillow. If you saw my mixing video, which I have linked in the description box if you're interested in that, my usual pillow paint is Glidden Essentials in Eggshell, but I've been wanting to try the white satin. I love the black satin from Colorplace, so I've been wanting to try the white satin, especially when I'm doing a lot of playing around, because it's a lot more cost effective. It does have less bubbles than the Glidden. It works pretty well. The only thing I have noticed is if I stretch something really far or I spin a lot, the edges tend to have a tiny bit of crazing, but it's not like noticeable. So, and if you're not sure what crazing is kind of where if you stretch out your painting or you spin it or your paints are too thick, the pigment sort of looks like it's breaking apart. I don't usually have that happen very often. So some people use GAC 800 in their pillow paint to help prevent that. I kind of think part of the reason it happens is because the Colorplace is a thick pillow. So you could, water it down a little bit with some GAC 800 and probably prevent that, or even a tiny bit of water. I wouldn't use too much water, but that's really the only thing that I've had some challenges with, and it's really not a big deal because you can fix it. So far I really like it. So if you're, in the US or in a place where you have access to that, it's a pretty decent alternative. So just for what it's worth. So for this 8x8, I am going to go ahead and use the boom gel for two reasons. For one, as I mentioned, the cell activator was old, and I wanted to make sure that it was going to sell up nicely over a larger canvas like this. And boom gel is super helpful underneath your cell activator to help things sell up. You can't use too much of it because it will take over and it will kind of eat up your cell activator. So it also helps if you have those puddles in the middle that I tend to get from using too much cell activator. It helps because you can kind of count on it to continue to interact a little bit. So when I use boom gel underneath the cell activator, I tend to use a dab more cell activator than I probably need to just kind of account for that. So I also already had some of this gold boom gel in a little container because and you'll see this in a different video, I had mixed some with like 1 or 2 drops of Australian Floetrol because I was practicing something I saw Shelley do in a live. And so I was trying something over the cell activator. It didn't work for 2 reasons. One of them was the cell activator was too thick. So anyway, I want to use up that gold that I have because it's not in the bottle, so I don't know what the shelf life of it will be if it's in that container. So I've been trying to throw it into various pours to use it up. So this is not a perfect blowout, but I am practicing blowing out blooms on a larger canvas instead of like a 4 or 6 inch. So I've been practicing using the Yeeho and this little travel dryer. So part of that reason I'm using this size is because I wanted to use this as practice. So here's where I try to channel my Jody skills and see if I can deal with some of this negative space. And I end up really liking the composition of this because if you can see kind of horizontally right now, there's a lot of lacing on the left and on the right. And then there's some negative space kind of opposite to that. And so it was not intended, but it sort of looks intended. So just adding a few little curly cues to blend some color in that negative space. Some of it's going to spin off. But one of the things I really wanted to do is accent those blue edges and kind of pull them into the middle. And without realizing it, I did that on opposite sides. So when I spin it out, it looks like we did it on purpose. And I wish I could tell you that I did that on purpose, but I didn't. I just saw places that needed a little touch up, and it ends up looking kind of symmetrical in the negative space because of it. So while we're embellishing, don't forget to check the description box below. There's 20% off for Colourarte, anything on the Colourarte website. 15% off for Boom Gel from Pixel Paint Designs. You can also get Australian Floetrol from Pixel Paint Designs. It's right here in the United States. So you can get it sooner. Occasionally she runs out. She gets more, so just check back in. And Boom Gels are a ton of fun to play with in your paintings. And our Fluid Art Friends Facebook group is also in the description box below. We'd love to have you join. So stay tuned for our close-up and dry result at the end. All right, so here's our close-up. I wanted to show it this way before I pick it up because you can't really see the shifting when I have it in my hand. I love this part right here with this really beautiful lacing and cells under the indigo, or under the white cell activator where the indigo outlines everything. That's super cool. You do see the boom a little bit, but that will also probably continue to develop. But similar to some other pours, I really like that the Egyptian coin is a dominant gold. And of course, I love the sweet tooth. It plays really well like a deep coral pink. So I really think this color palette kind of worked well. I didn't really want the pale pink to be a dominant color, and I don't think it was. So I think it's pretty. Let me know what you think. I mean, these are not necessarily colors I would use all the time, so I like the way we embellished it here, where it looks like it kind of has a horn coincidentally on either side, which was not intentional. And then the lacing kind of mirrors on either side this way. Again, not intentional, so my desire for symmetry is somewhat satisfied in this piece. So let me just bring you down a little bit closer. Sorry about the mess in the background. There's just too much stuff for me to pick it up successfully, I think. I'm gonna have to scrape some stuff around it. Yeah, I like it. So if you were curious what you could pair with moss, now you know. A couple of ideas. Thanks for watching. Okay, so here's our dried result. I think it dried beautifully, and I love how the moss kind of interacts with the gold and the sweet tooth to create that beautiful like golden green. So I think it turned out really beautiful. It will get a coat of resin. I really love the accents of the indigo too. I think it just was a good color palette to choose. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.